We're talking new faces in New Japan, NXT UK, and mental health in today's episode of WrstlXtra, so stay tuned.
Yo, what is good, people? It's your boy A Dazzle here on WrstlXtra. We are on number 14, but now we are now live on YouTube. This is what we're going to be doing from now on. And of course, I can only do it with my boy Mex. Bro, new times, new things going on. Tell me what's good.
It literally feels like day one. We're starting this all over again, like a whole new journey. But big up everyone on YouTube, Facebook, everyone that's joining us over from the Instagram. This is the new home, live home of WrstlXtra.
This is crazy, bro. As you said, man, it feels like a new day. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
That's right.
Let's go. I'm Biggie. You can be Kofi. You know. So. Let us get into it, bro. So one of the big things that happened over the last couple of days, I think it was announced yesterday, that New Japan have announced their Super J Cup. And what's different about this year is it's taking place in America, for one. But the biggest part of it, of course, for us, is that we have 3 black wrestlers on a New Japan card. Just saying it just sounds...
It's mad. It's literally mad.
I want to get emotional. I might actually watch a New Japan show now. You know, you know what I mean? So the 3 competitors that were announced, ACH, who is no real stranger to New Japan at all. He's been in so many a few different tournaments already, but never the Super J Cup itself, which is quite surprising, to be honest. Big one is Lio Rush. He's going to be making his sole debut for New Japan. I think he's done a show with, ROH, which was kind of like a combined thing with New Japan. But this is solely New Japan, him on his own, doing his thing. And then the biggest surprise, I guess, is Chris Bay. Chris Bay is going to be on a New Japan show. We're calling it already the Super Bay Cup. Right, let's go. Super Bay Cup. I don't know how he's going to fare, but at the same time, regardless of whether he loses in his first round match, whether he gets to the semi-final, final, whatever it is, like this is massive for Chris Bay and for New Japan in general as well. So how are you seeing this? Do you even watch New Japan, bro? Like,
yeah. So I was a avid watcher. Big up Skillet, because Skillet or through his podcast got me really into New Japan around about 2015 2016 times. Obviously I gravitated towards the Americans that were there. They've all now moved on to AEW, more or less, to all of them. So I kind of dropped my fandom for NJPW, but I still watch every now and again. I've recently just watched the G1 Climax, which was brilliant. Don't watch it as much as I can, but December is not going to stop me. I will be watching this. I'm very interested to see how Lio Rush gets on, being especially the free agent, so to speak, amongst them.
Right.
That could be a bit of a clue to how far he goes in this. Chris Bay, I have seen Chris Bay here and there, but because I don't watch Impact as so much, I'm very kind of intrigued to see what he can really bring to the table on such a stage. Like we've had the Cruiserweight Classic, and that was brilliant at the time, but you always feel like New Japan is just a whole nother ball game with how them man perform, the strong style. Just again, the shackles are off, you can do whatever you want, sort of thing. Cool. ACH as well. We had exposure to him through that NXT breakout tournament, I think it was.
Right. He won it as well.
And he won that, exactly. Unfortunately, things in WWE didn't end well for him or Lio Rush particularly. So on this big stage, I just can't wait to see what these guys are doing. Like I've never seen so many black people in New Japan before. Like, it's gonna be good. Yeah,
it's not just ACH and Ricochet. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
you mentioned both Lio Rush and ACH not having the best exit from WWE, and for me, both of them have kind of made their way back into the ring. ACH a little bit more than Rush, but at the same time, I think this is now probably their biggest. Well, this is definitely the biggest company that they've wrestled for since leaving WWE. And in a way, I guess it's gonna be a kind of like a almost a told you so moment, almost to prove themselves again, maybe to themselves, to other people, and all that type of thing. I mean, I know with both of them, they are very confident about who they are and what they're about. Both men are definitely that, and they have every single reason to be as well. But I believe it's kind of a way for them to say, look, this is what you're missing out on.
Yeah,
this is what you let go. This is what you left behind. So for that reason alone, this is going to be amazing. And as you said as well, the whole thing of New Japan being its own, just being a different war game altogether. I'm excited to see what they do. There was a match between Rush and ACH actually back only a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, for Game Changer Wrestling. GCW, for those that don't know about GCW, and I've seen the highlights of that match. If ACH and Rush meet in the ring for New Japan, bro, it's gonna go off. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you now, it's gonna go off, bro. Yeah. Having Chris Bay in there, I know that most people are used to, probably have only seen Chris Bay in Impact. And as much as Impact is a little bit less restrictive than WWE, there's still, more restriction on them in Impact than there is on the Indies.
Definitely.
I've seen Chris Bay on the Indies, the highlights and some, a few full matches and stuff. And I've been following Chris Bay from more or less day one. He's been wrestling for about 3 to 4 years now. I've been following him for at least 2 or 3 of those years. And I've been a massive fan.
4 years.
Yeah, bro. This guy has just been about for no longer than 4 years.
That is mad.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been chatting about Chris Bay for at least 2 years. I do at the start of each year for the last 3 years now. I do like wrestlers to look out for, or breakout stars who are non-WWE wrestlers. Chris Bay has been on that list for the last 2 years, and if I did it in a way where I was ranking it, he would always have been number one. I just feel as though he's just got so much to him. There's still a lot for him to work on and stuff like that, but I just feel like the potential that he has, the way he carries himself as a character in the ring, what he does, again, the fact that he's only been doing it for about, not even 4 years yet, is just ridiculous. I mean, in 2018, he appeared for Impact, ROH, and on 205 in the space of 2 weeks. In the space of 2 weeks, bro. All 3 in the space of 2 weeks. And then obviously, the start of this year, he was signed. In 2019, he had, I think he won about 6, if not 7 championships, and was holding at least 4 at one time. And he was completely dominating the West Coast. So he had 4 different titles in 4 different states. That is yeah. And then he got signed by Impact at the start of this year. By July, he was X Division champion.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's totally on fire this year, especially.
I mean, I was very upset by and a little bit confused by the way he lost to Rohit Raju with the X Division Championship. Yeah. That was kind of out of nowhere. There was kind of nothing to it. They were building something, but it was a little bit too early in that story. Yeah, And since then, he's kind of, he's been in the mix. He's had, he's been in the matches and stuff like that. But you kind of know that he's not necessarily going to be the one who's going to win the match, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's been a little upsetting, and that's been only the last month or so. But apart from that, bro, he's on fire, and this, I'm just like, huh?
It's crazy. I mean, I've got one eye on the comments. Thanks to everyone commenting. Keep commenting. What's up, Frederick, Shantice? Arpit, Rest Things, big up Rest Things.
Come
They've
on, Rest
co-signed what you've said. Rush and
Yeah, man.
ACH's GCW show was mental.
Crazy, bro.
We are in for a treat, and especially, you know, we got some other great names in the tournament, you know, other than, you know, the Black Stars that we've mentioned. So I think it's December the 12th.
December 12th. Yeah. December 12th. Mentioning the other names, I'm a massive fan of last year's winner, El Phantasmo. Seeing him live, bro.
Yeah.
Never seen that guy live. If you've never seen him, that is phenomenal, bro. It's ridiculous. And obviously then there's Blake Christian, who's been making headlines this year as well. Via again GCW. I said to someone as well just yesterday that this almost feels like a GCW show with El Phantasmo.
Literally the names involved, yeah.
Basically what it is, bro. It's crazy. TJP as well is on there in his second year as well. Obviously TJP is also on Impact. So yeah, man. Just put any two together and you're getting something. Trust me, it's gonna be crazy. I'll be watching. I don't know if I'll watch it live. It depends what time it comes on, but I'm on it. I'm on it, man.
No, it's gonna be good. Got another Lio Rush versus Hiromu Takahashi, crazy match.
Come on.
Blake Christian is crazy good. I'm surprised Alex Zane wasn't booked for it. That's true.
Very true.
Seen Phantasmo live as well, says Lincoln. He's outstanding.
Yeah, man.
Mate, it's gonna be good. There's nothing more to say.
It's gonna be a crazy one, bro. It's gonna be a crazy one. And of course, as well, speaking of new faces, new things happening, it was announced a few days ago, and I only just posted it about an hour ago before we started recording this show. Rampage is coming to NXT UK.
Yes,
bro.
For the longest time, from the longest time when NXT UK started, I kept asking, where is Rampage? Where is Rampage? Where is Rampage? In the last month or two since NXT UK has relaunched, the question I've been asking is, who is going to dethrone Walter? Who is going to dethrone Walter? Who's going to dethrone Walter? And I kept, now obviously Dragunov, they've been building him up, and obviously that match was mental the other day between Dragunov and Walter. But this is now their candidate that could realistically, believably dethrone Walter, in my opinion.
I think
it has
so.
To be Rampage, bro.
I think so. But will it be? How quick do they do it though? Do they do it straight away? Do they build Rampage a little bit, let him defeat? I don't know. Trent Seven and Eddie Dennis, for example, and Joe Coffey, and then get to Walter. That for me would be better than just he steamrolls in. Not to say that it's unbelievable, because Rampage could do that, but
and that's the thing. Yeah,
I just prefer the slow build to the straight away, because then when it's straight away, you're like, okay, what do we do next?
Which is basically what they did with Walter. Walter came in, they shot him to the top against Pete Dunne, and he finished Pete Dunne, and he's been holding the belt since.
That's right. Exactly.
To make a complete star of of Rampage Brown, they could do something similar. However, I guess because they maybe just done that with Walter, maybe that's not an option. I guess maybe he can go straight after the winner. They've got this Heritage Cup going on at the minute.
Very true.
The winner of that could be his first kind of feud. But just in terms of believable, credible names from the UK scene, obviously Rampage is a legend around the UK independent scene. And like I say, very credible name and looks the part. This looks like someone that can beat Walter. So
beast.
Yeah, literally.
So beast. I mean, remember when we were talking to Rio a few weeks ago, and I said to her that out of all the people that I've seen on the UK scene, both Rio and probably Rampage are the people that I've seen the most. And watching Rampage, every single time you get the same reaction from the fans. It doesn't matter what show it is. It doesn't matter what match it is. He's giving you the same thing. He's an absolute beast, bro.
That's it. Literally.
I've taken a couple pictures with him, and to stand next to him, bro, I'm just like, Hi. Bro, he's massive. I remember there was a match that he had, Tidal Championship Wrestling, which is kind of like his home promotion because it's in Leeds, where he's from. And he faced Speedball. Oh gosh, what's his name? I forget, but it's Speedball something or the other. Who is kind of like almost like this karate kid from America, bro. He's like, you know, proper fast, and you know, I mean, he doesn't wear any boots or any shoes or whatever else. He's bare feet, and all the rest of it, and it's, you know, all of that. But the chops that were coming from both of them, the sounds, bro. Oh my word, the chop that Rampage gives this guy is absolutely ridiculous. I need to find the video. I've got the video on my phone somewhere. I'm gonna share it on my story or something like that. But yeah, Rampage is just I can say over and over again, he's just an absolute monster, bro. And to see him in NXT UK, it's kind of like, again, it's been so long. Because here's the thing. Some of the guys on NXT UK, so the Coffee Brothers and Ashton Smith, and probably one or two others, were on the new reincarnation of World of Sport.
Yes, on
years back. And I think just before it kind of went on ITV, those three that I mentioned got signed by NXT UK. So I've been waiting for Rampage to then make the switch as well. Rampage went on to kind of become the champion there. Wrestling's have corrected me. Yeah, it's Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey. Check him out if you haven't already. But going back, so yeah, I've been waiting for Rampage to make this switch. And I'm just like, what have we waited for? What was, you know, what stopped them? And also as well, Rampage is no stranger to WWE. Rampage was at FCW, the Championship Wrestling. So it's kind of like, okay, so you know this guy, you know who he is already. You don't have to work him out or whatever else. And he's had matches with Bray Wyatt, Husky Harris back then, Titus O'Neil, Jinder Mahal, like all these people as well that have then gone on to, you know, be in WWE often and regularly and stuff like that. So, you know, I guess everything in its time.
There's been but yeah, it's true. Everything is timing, especially in wrestling. And there's been two main things that, you know, I feel NXT UK since the relaunch especially has been missing. It's credible challenges for Walter, although, you know, Dragunov shut me up the other day. And star power. We need like more recognizable faces.
Right.
I fell off NXT UK around about this time last year when AEW started, just because of time. I wanted to watch AEW. I never had so much time for NXT UK. And by the time I've come back now around the relaunch, I'm watching it and I'm like, who's that? And people in the comments are kind enough to kind of fill me in and let me know, you know, this is person, this person's really good. And I'm learning as I get on, but there's no recognizable faces, you know. Everyone in the UK scene, anyone that knows UK wrestling knows Rampage Brown, and this is definitely, like I say, it's someone that's gonna really lift the level, even boost the watchers of NXT UK. Lincoln's just saying here, oh my god, Rampage is gonna be fire versus Walter. When we get to that match, it's gonna be something. For sure. NK, after this stream, I'm gonna watch Walter versus Dragunov. Shame on you, NK, that you ain't watched that already. Shame on you, bro. One of the best matches from the last week or so. Like literally, you need to go watch that. So
for sure. And here's the other thing about star power when it comes to Rampage. He's not just a guy that is known on the UK scene either. I think he has appeared for Ring of Honor. Not necessarily on TV, but he has, you know, on their shows in the, I think, definitely in the UK, but I think he's done one or two in the US. And Combat Zone Wrestling as well, CZW. So he's not, you know, a stranger to the US scene either. I think as well, at the same time, that the US guys have been waiting to see Rampage themselves as well. So it's not just a well-respected UK guy that's now on NXT UK. It's also a guy that the US guys I've been waiting to see and heard about, seen clips because of my page. And but no, they've seen him, as I said, you know, Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So they're also anticipating what this guy is gonna do, and what it's gonna mean for NXT UK. I mean, I know NXT UK are kind of going through a little bit, you know, they've kind of come back and are going through a little bit of a transition. There's gonna be a few changes that are gonna come that gonna be nice, or have, you know, high potential to be amazing. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see what happens with that, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Just our pits comment, Rampage Brown's going to be the next big thing in NXT UK. Like you said, maybe they give him a good guy, you know, upper mid carder to take on before he starts looking at the title. I wouldn't want them to kind of bore us with squash matches before they kind of put him in a feud. Put him in against someone solid, like you said, maybe a Trent Seven or the winner of whoever the Heritage Cup goes to. Let's get things rolling from a
do you see him coming in as a face or as a heel?
It's gotta be a heel, doesn't it? Like, let's be honest, that's when he does his best work. But I guess I'm just thinking, I guess the eventual plan is going to be Walter. Is Walter's a heel, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Rampage is a heel, though. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's a difficult one, and there's also the prospect of him and Ashton Smith doing something together
as well. Tag team champions. Where were
before? And that is ICW.
Okay,
yeah. So they've done that as well. They've been, you know, teaming for a while. I think it's 2-time ICW champions as well, actually, tag team champions. So there's that as well. So that could be interesting. Maybe it becomes a threesome with Oliver Carter, or they just do something completely different. Who knows? But, you know, just the simple fact that there's options is great on its own. You know what I mean? So they're
going to be bringing back Joe Coffey soon as well. I think Joe Coffey's probably due back on TV this week or next week or so. So that's another big name that, you know, he can tussle with before the title. So
yeah. And even to stay on NXT UK, it's nice that we're actually talking about NXT UK for a change. It feels good. We also saw the debut of Levi Muir as well.
Yes.
For those who don't know about Levi Muir, like, I think as much as obviously we were expecting a loss, I think his showing was enough to entice people who are new to him to say, "Oh, this guy looks interesting." But you know, he's got the power, he's got the speed, a former power lifter, bruv. And you know, he's another person that I've seen live as well, and he's got this swagger to him. He's kind of like, he's not brash in the sense of he's you know, cocky or anything like that, but he just knows who he is. You know what I mean? That kind of confidence. He knows who he is. He knows what he's about. He can move in the ring. He's strong. I'm hoping that whatever they do with him, you know, is going to be great for him as well, man. He's a young star. He's again very new to the game, but at the same time, what people don't realize, he was actually trained by what's his name? The Canadian. Oh man, I'm gonna Canadian guy. Lance Storm. You're very good, aren't you? Yeah, Lance Storm. That's it. He was trained by Lance Storm in Canada as well. So that was a few years back. So again, another person kind of coming from, you know, a lot of substance. You know, he's getting recognition from Lance Storm, who obviously WWE have got massive respect for. So, you know, again, the stakes are high for him. You know, the potential's there. Yeah, let's see what happens with Levi Muir as well.
I saw him on a show late last year, and I hadn't seen him since. And then I think you posted earlier in the week that he was going to be on NXT UK. He's going to make his debut. And then when I saw him at NXT UK, I thought, yeah, that's the same guy I saw back then. And he just looks like a black Michelin man. Like, he is massive. It's unreal.
Yeah.
it's actually unreal. Like his arms are so long, his limbs are so long, and it's just muscles and bicep and tricep for days. Like he definitely looks like someone they can do something solid with. He had a losing effort in his NXT UK debut during the week. I can't quite remember who he faced now.
Jordan Devlin. He's actually Jordan Devlin return as well. So there was no way he was going to win that. But at the same time, as I said, he was able to, you know, show us more than enough to make us think, ooh, this guy looks interesting.
Wrestling said he looks like Arms Coleon. For those that know, this guy's a mental guy on the internet. He's very funny. So yeah, he does very kind of same stature, very good build. I hope they use that as part of, you know, making him that star later on down the line.
Hopefully for sure. Moving on a little bit and kind of involving the guys that we spoke about earlier. There was the news of unfortunate news of Kylie Ray has retired, has announced that she's retired from the ring. This all kind of stems from her not showing at Bound for Glory. She was set to face Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship. Unfortunately, didn't show, so there was, you know, talk of why not and all this type of thing. Unfortunately, you know, we now know that it was connected to, you know, mental health issues, and it's something that she's dealt with before. Quite, you know, well known when she was signed to AEW, supposed to show up for the first show, and then, you know, she didn't show up for that, and it was kind of, you know, again, mental health was connected to that as well. And the reason why I say the connection with the first guys that we mentioned, obviously she's, you know, wrestling for Impact where Chris Bay is, but then also as well, the connection, other connection is ACH. We mentioned ACH's the way he exited WWE was again connected to that as well, to mental health issues. And again, another scenario that we spoke about, or another incident that happened, was the loss of Adrian Smile about 2 weeks ago. And again, it was another case of losing a battle with mental health. And I spoke to DOJMO about that. And it just seems as though with 2020, with COVID-19 going on, and just with wrestling in general, to be honest, way before you know, 2020 even came around, mental health just seems to be this thing that they either overlook, don't know how to deal with, overshadow.
Yeah.
For me, you know, I saw some of the comments that people made when it was announced that Kylie Ray didn't show up, or when, you know, after the show, after Bound for Glory, and you're seeing different people posting about it and stuff like that, and people questioning why Kylie Ray disappeared or didn't show up. And they were making the connections to mental health, and straight away people are just like, sack her, do this, do that, just no compassion in it whatsoever. I made quite a long response. I've got this thing about writing essays. I don't know why, but I made this long response, and you know what? For me, I said, okay, all right, she didn't show up, so there's repercussions to that. You know, I mean, you maybe suspend her or whatever else you do, but at the same time, for Impact, or whatever company that she was part of, or anyone else for that matter, if it happens with them as well, it's about taking care of them while you've then suspended them. So move them away from the ring, but at the same time, get them the help, or at least point them in the right direction to get that help. I know with the ACH scenario, that was actually the case. That's what they tried to do for a while. I think ACH either refused or didn't want to deal with it, and that kind of blew up into what it ended up being. But for me, a lot of the time, we kind of do this thing of, you know, it's a mental health issue. You're a wrestler, just deal with it. You fight, don't you? So deal with it. You even in Kylie Ray's case, you're man enough. Deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is mental health even an issue for you, kind of thing? Like this whole testosterone manly things, like But we've got to be very real about the situation, and especially again this year, that people are being heavily affected by mental health issues. And if it's not addressed, and if it's not dealt with, and if it's not brought to the table, we're gonna hear stories like this a lot more, or we're not gonna hear stories of it, and people are gonna be struggling on their own with no solution to their issues, no solution to their problems.
Suffering.
So I just think it's exactly that, and I think it's it's quite worrying, especially in the world of wrestling, that this is happening so often, because we've seen, we've even seen the real extreme case of Chris Benoit, and what happened with that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to say about it, but it's just a worrying type of. It's just a worrying situation, and it's a shame that people have to, I mean, go for it.
It's just a case of people being cool, people being kind. There's no need to,
Right.
someone's been pulled off a show. They've been advertised profusely. They've been pulled off a show, and the first thing you're saying is Saka, that's unprofessional. That's this, that's that. You haven't waited for a press release or anything from the company she works for or from herself and her people. You're just jumping to extremes after extremes after extremes. This was the same with ACH. I think you mentioned earlier, when he left WWE, people were saying this, that, and the other about him. He said he was quitting wrestling and all this kind of stuff. Like, at what point does someone need to be maybe, as especially an internet fan, let me just lay off the keyboard and just give this guy a break? This could be any one of us. My brother could be going through this and I don't even know, sort of thing, because he's hiding it better than maybe ACH is. You see what I mean? Like, be cool, be kind, and we have to try and minimize and then look out for each other as much as possible, especially like you said, in this current climate. COVID locked us all indoors. People aren't seeing their loved ones. Life isn't what it used to be. So there's just no need for that kind of behavior, man. But at least, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and the other thing is as well, like with both people that we mentioned, Kylie Ray and ACH, you wouldn't have suspected at all, because both of them have this character of being very smiley, very
happy guy,
out there, and happy people and all that type of thing. And that's not to say, it's now connected, or it must be all these smiley people that are struggling. It's not that, but at the same time, there's not always this obvious. There's no symptoms. There's no obvious showing as to someone who's dealing with these things, because sometimes you can find out about someone and you're like, huh, really?
Literally.
But you're always helping so and so, and you're always helping me, and and things like that. So again, it's like you said, it takes nothing to just simply be kind. Know when to speak, what to say. If it's not, my mom used to say this all the time: if you can't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all. I used to think, oh, whatever, mom. Now I'm like, you know what? It's very, very true. It's very, very true. It's not everything that needs to be said. If you can't say something nice, then don't say nothing at all. And if it's gonna be something, a critique or could be taken negative, know how to say it, when to say it
well.
Right. All of that. So yeah, man, again, be nice, be kind. You never know. You just never know.
100. Eli says amen to that. And
Come on. Exactly, man.
Wrap that one in a nutshell.
For sure. We're on our time, about halfway through the show. Let's have a look at the prospect that WWE is bringing to us now with Survivor Series. The match that we kind of were asking for about 2-3 weeks ago, with Street Profits and the New Day. Now, when the draft happened and they did that little title exchange, and we came here, and a few days later, and we're like, they should have had a match, and I completely forgot about Survivor Series.
It's around the corner.
I completely forgot. So I'm now like, okay, this is what we're waiting for. How do you see this kind of playing out? Both teams are, they're faces, they're the good guys, but they've kind of already had this little exchange kind of thing already. Like, how do you see this one playing out?
It's gonna be a good match, that's for sure. This match will be probably heavily carried by Kofi's crazy ability and Montez Ford athleticism and entertainment. However, obviously Xavier Woods, I said a couple of weeks ago, he has looked like he's a breath of fresh air. Sorry,
When you get your breath,
literally, he's a breath of fresh air since he's returned to the ring from his injuries. Even Angelo Dawkins, he's been putting some really good performances before the tag, and we get that massive frog splash. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it should be and is going to be a Street Profits win. Because I think that sooner or later, New Day are going to drop the tag belts to the Hurt Business guys, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. So this might be the beginning of their decline, sort of thing. And I'm sure the New Day don't have any issue with Street Profits getting one over them.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't at all.
Yeah. Regardless, it's gonna be a really good match.
Bro, as you said, man, the highlight for me I'm waiting for is just Kofi Montez. I'm just waiting for that. Who's going to jump higher? Who's going to jump the highest? You know what I mean? Who's going to jump over the ropes the most throughout the match and all that type of thing? Their leaping abilities is just ridiculous. And as you said, you know what, rightly said as well, like Angelo Dawkins and Xavier Woods, it's not then, you know, you forget about who they are and what they do as well, because they're going to add so much value to the match as well. In terms of a result, I guess, you know, it would make a little bit more sense for the Street Profits to win. You mentioned Shelton and Cedric. I wouldn't be too surprised if they kind of came in and messed it up in some way.
I think we love a DQ finish.
Well, there you go. I think it would actually help with the New Day losing to them as well. So it's not then New Day lose to Street Profits and then lose to the Hurt Business. If then the Hurt Business have are the reason behind them losing, then obviously it fuels the feud. And
you say that, but last night on Raw, Hurt Business beat New Day, so I guess they're probably in line for a tag team championship opportunity at this point. So there's that. Eli Myers on Facebook says Street Profits for the win and give them a boost until they lose the belts to the Bloodline.
Ooh, now that is again another thing that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago with the Usos kind of falling in line with Roman Reigns like that. They're doing it.
That's a good take from Eli. The one thing I think Jimmy, that's out injured, probably won't be back till January or so. So it will still give the Street Profits some time to hold the belts. Yeah, but it's gonna happen. Like, let's be perfectly honest. Like,
and that would be another great match as well. Obviously, we've seen, you know, what the Usos have done with the New Day in terms of abilities and action in the ring. Street Profits are very similar. It's always high energy. It's always, you know, Montez and, as we said, Montez and Kofi are very similar in that respect as well. So the prospect of the Usos versus the Street Profits is going to be is a big one. Definitely. We mentioned the New Day and the Hurt Business. I kind of thought we were finishing this whole black on black thing.
They just swapped them out, bro.
Yeah. You know, let's take away Apollo and Ricochet, and let's just throw in Kofi and Xavier.
We got more black people. Come. literally. Like,
oh man. I mean, you know, again, you know, all them four in the ring is gonna be a good show regardless. It is, but it is again still kind of like, can we not do something different, boys? You know?
You know what I was thinking? When I watched Raw, I was thinking, now obviously Big E, if I'm correct, he wasn't even on SmackDown on Friday.
I don't think he was, no.
This singles push is going to be hampered by Roman Reigns' dominance. That is for sure. Maybe there's a road in the Intercontinental division. But I was thinking, why didn't they just move Big E with New Day boys to Raw, and they've put them with Hurt Business? He could have went after the US Championship from Bobby Lashley.
In terms of Bobby Lashley versus Big E, that would be a great match.
Yeah.
But again, for me, it would still be this whole throwing all the black folk together.
Oh, that's an issue in itself. When I know that, but yeah,
that's
I
why for me it's not a problem. For me, the problem is that they're not pushing Big E towards anything specifically right now. So they've given it the big talk, but they're not necessarily pushing it to anything specific. Yeah, we beat Sheamus, and I'm glad it wasn't straight, straight to the top or anything like that. He beat Sheamus, but then he's done nothing for what, 2-3 weeks. Have him go after Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's kind of more or less done nothing.
Yeah,
as well as an Intercontinental champion. So, and talking to Survivor Series, we're getting this random match of these champions that haven't really been champions with Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. It kind of just feels like
just thrown together. That's
just
thrown together.
Yeah. And it's a shame. It is a shame. I'm a fan of both guys, if I'm honest. But again, it's not necessarily the fault of the wrestlers themselves. It's the fault of the booking of WWE, really.
It's very lazy to have all of these black guys or Hurt Business involved with every black guy on a roster for how many months now? Like we said, they swapped out Apollo Crews and Ricochet. They've now brought the New Day. In between, yes, there has been Retribution, but I'm sure the Hurt Business have other stuff to do. Like Bobby Lashley, where is his US title feud? Where are his contenders for that? I think we said on the show months ago that this belt was going to get swallowed amongst Hurt Business and their demeanors with Retribution, and it's exactly what happens. He hasn't really done anything since he's become champion.
And what's weird is that as much as Bobby Lashley has been otherwise occupied, that there's been no kind of feuds or stories or whatever else to build a number one contender for the US Championship either. Like, we've had nothing at all. There's just been matches going on, and that is it. So it's kind of like, okay, so what are we doing? Again, kind of very similar with the Intercontinental Championship, because after Sami Zayn won the ladder match, there's not necessarily been matches purposely to try and find the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. You know what I mean? AJ Styles moved to Raw. Elias and Jeff Hardy are doing their own thing. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily for anything.
They moved to Raw as well.
No, they're still on SmackDown, but it's hold on. They moved to Raw.
They moved to Raw, yeah.
Oh my word, they moved to Raw as well. Oh my god,
I think
what's going on?
Daniel Bryan kind of made a jab, if you want to call it that the IC belt should be defended weekly. Ever since then, obviously he got beaten up by Jey Uso the other week, and I think they're going to go Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns in a short term, because Daniel Bryan is a face. Everyone loves Daniel Bryan. This will cement Roman and them man as big heels once they beat Daniel Bryan.
Of course.
But that scene on both shows, Intercontinental and US, is a bit missing. Joe Dixon's comment here felt like Big E and Keith Lee are on the same treatment, so I was glad to see them separate. That's the point. Maybe that's why they didn't put Big E on Raw as well. I don't know. I need to do something with that mid card.
Yeah. It's kind of just missing. Mentioning Keith Lee as well. Like, he's just kind of been missing as well. Yeah, we beat Elias the other day. Yeah, that's how I know. That's how I should have known that Elias is on Raw. And now he's part of the Raw team for Survivor Series. Yeah, which feels very random as well. Keith Lee, Sheamus, and AJ Styles.
They got added. Braun Strowman joined them on last night.
Last night show. Yeah, it just feels random, but at the same time, it's Survivor Series. It's not supposed to be like 5 friends. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But the whole mid card and in between championships and whatever else just feels like I just don't know what to do. Yeah. And it's not a case, you've got, as we mentioned, Keith Lee, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins in between on SmackDown, and all these stars that could elevate any of those 2 championships. and you're doing nothing. Literally doing nothing. You even changed both championships for what?
For what?
If you're doing nothing.
Yeah. I think Big E 100%. Big E should be, there's no instance where Big E should not be on the show, because New Day will always be on Raw. Even if it's a backstage skit, them two will always be shown. So Big E needs to make sure he's in a position where at least at the very minimum, he's getting a backstage interview every week. But definitely, whilst Sami Zayn is doing nothing as well with the IC title, that should have his name all over it. Definitely get involved with that.
For sure. They just need to give us something to get excited about more than anything. You know what I mean? Just give us something to get excited about. Give us a reason
something to believe in.
To believe in. Exactly that. But over time, we'll see what happens. And hopefully, I mean, after Survivor Series, we'll see, what happens with both championships as well. Neither of them are losing for anytime soon. Very, very quickly, before we move on to Stars of the Week as well, I saw your video about Sasha Banks's imminent match with Bayley. So we know Sasha Banks has never been able to defend her Raw Women's Championship.
Bro, do we have to do this? You want me to cry on live, innit? Like, let's not, bro.
So Bayley's come out on Friday on SmackDown and was like, "Yep, I want my rematch." Sasha's like, "Okay, come for it." And it's happening on Friday, isn't it? It's happening on SmackDown. I personally, I'm confident that she's gonna win. I'm confident she'll actually defend the championship for the first time, a singles championship for the first time in her career. So what's your fear?
Like, okay, so if she retains, obviously she will go into Survivor Series. And I think Bayley will probably interrupt that match anyway. And there'll be no finish. And then I can't really see what happens between now and the next 6 months or so up to WrestleMania with Sasha Banks.
Right.
They might circle around to Bayley again, but I just feel Bayley can beat Sasha Banks on Friday. The match again at Survivor Series can be scrambled by Sasha Banks interrupting.
Right.
And then people still want to see Sasha Banks win a Royal Rumble. Like, there is still that story that can be told, and she gets the big win. Because again, Sasha Banks has never won at WrestleMania.
Nope.
So I just don't want them to rubbish her.
I now understand your fear even more now, because the whole thing of Sasha Banks being able to win Royal Rumble and then go on to win at WrestleMania.
I mean, let me just to interrupt you before you continue.
The
Mandalorian, it's on TV now, I believe. Did they give her the title just for a 1 week promo for this? They've done it before, bro. There's precedents for them doing stuff like this.
Oh man, it's possible, but at the same time, it's possible that it's going to be a bit more of a long-term thing as well.
I hope so.
I think for me, again, we've got the whole thing with the Raw Championship, and even with the last time she had it, I was quite confident that they'll allow her to defend it this time, because she wasn't able to before. Obviously, she still lost again. Now that it's a different championship, arguably a lesser championship, she'll defend it. They've made something of it.
I hope
so. Her not being able to defend, so maybe then she will defend.
Yeah, I hope
Who knows? I think in a way as well, the unpredictability of it is a good thing.
100%.
So it will have us watching, kind of, on our toes and all the rest of it. So,
I mean, the good thing, because it's Sasha Banks, she can lose it, and to be honest, nothing changes. She is still the boss. She is still, someone that we will be very invested in. I just for her stake, I want to be her. I want to have her there, up there,
Right,
and
right,
be
right.
kind of in my star of the week nominations every week. Like, I don't need her to be looking bad, you know. So,
Right. I hear that. No, I hear that completely.
yeah.
Moving on to our stars of the week. Mine is a very obvious one, but as always, I'll let you take the floor and go for yours straight away. Like, who have you got at the top of your list?
So, this was a bit of a hard week for myself. I was trying to really pick out someone that done something, and my star of the week is going to be Anthony Ogogo. So
Interesting.
UK boxer turned wrestler. He made his debut on AEW. It was AEW Dark. It was as a commentator. He was on the show for like maybe the first 40 minutes before they were switching through different commentators, guest commentators. And I just feel like it was a different approach to a debut. I did like it. I liked how he came across a bit like a gentle giant. Again, he was showing his knowledge of wrestling very subtly. Obviously, Taz is very technical with his descriptions, him and Excalibur. But he kept up with them in a way that shows I'm not from this world, but I'm getting it and I'm crossing over well, sort of thing. And it just, again, it's like someone that we knew was signed, but we haven't seen them. And it's just like, hello, I'm here, sort of thing. So I'm very intrigued as to how they start using him, when they're going to start using him. I don't think he is the kind of character that should be eating several losses on Dark before he gets his big win. So he is going to probably come in pretty hot. And yeah, I am intrigued to see how that looks like whenever it happens.
That is a very, very interesting pick, which does make sense because, I mean, as you said, the way that he came in, new to commentary completely, first time. And as much as Dark is, you know, the second show, it's still, you know, very well watched and all that type of thing. And it's not necessarily somewhere where you would just throw someone on, especially for as long as he was on there as well. Not just one match. It was a whole, you said, about 40 plus minutes. And I think it was done purposely in a sense where you know, as you rightly said as well, about him kind of showing what he knows. That he isn't just this, you know, this boxer who got a bit of recognition because he was in the Olympics and whatever else, and that's why we're taking him on, kind of thing. It is. I was actually quite surprised as well when I heard his name. I was like, huh?
Yeah, literally same.
But he held it nicely. It was obviously was new to it, but at the same time, you know, he did a great job in keeping up. And his banter between, you know, him and Taz, their chemistry was great as well, straight away. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with him, how they then introduce him to the ring itself, and you know, in what way as well. He's their first ever official trainee as well, AEW's first official trainee. There are a few others as well, but he was the biggest name, I guess, because of his Olympic background and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. He had a bit of a I think it was the day before he was announced to be signed. He had a bit of a run-in, or a week after, he had a bit of a run-in with NJF as well. At an independent show. Yeah, he had that happen as well. So
I think I heard of this.
Yeah, which was good. It was nice. He, you know, punched MJF in the face and, you know what I mean, and whatnot. So yeah, I think they've got plans for him. Whether they're gonna be big plans straight away or you know, a nice slow build. I don't see that whole losing 13 times on Dark like Lee Johnson and Sean Dean. They need to stop that right now. I'm getting vexed. Because you know what? Because the biggest reason I dislike it is because Lee Johnson is having some really good matches.
And they know that.
Well, and they know it. Sean Dean as well, but Lee Johnson is having some really good matches and still losing. So that needs to stop in some way. I don't get it. Before time goes, I'm going to hit my star of the week. My star of the week has to be inevitable Jonathan Gresham.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, man. Oh,
Have you watched the match?
Bro, crazy. Crazy. Every single one of his matches in that tournament was absolutely phenomenal. And the biggest reason why I love the fact that he won, and as much as it was kind of almost predictable for him to win, and it was always supposed to be him winning, is because he's pushed that whole thing the whole time. It was always all about him. The whole thing was all about him. And as much as it was predictable, it was kind of like, well, there's no other way it should have gone. If he didn't win, I'd have been upset, vexed.
Yeah.
All the rest of it. Throwing tables and all that. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very happy that he's won it. He's also still the ROH tag team champion as well with Jay Lethal. So for me, it's not just this whole thing of him winning the quote unquote mid-card tournament. It's also him cementing himself as a real player now in ROH. So as much as we've loved his stuff for the last few years in ROH, and he's kind of been the nearly man and all that kind of thing, he's now established himself. And I think if he stays with the company, I'm sure he will, because ROH, there's no better place for him to be honest. I'm sure soon enough, within maybe a year, 2 years max, he'll become the world champion in ROH. And the other thing that I want to give a mention to, and the reason why he's my star of the week, is because that photo shoot, that shot that he on that chair, bro, with the cup in, on his leg and the 2 championships over his shoulders, and he's just like,
energy.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, Jonathan Gresham, and I know him kind of, to speak to as well. So he's even more kind of feels a little bit more real to me as well, because I know how passionate he is about what he does. And again, it's that same thing that we've been speaking about for a while, and spoken about a few times, just having a good black wrestler.
I remember we had this conversation. We had this conversation maybe about a month ago now, especially around when the PWI Top 500 came out, and you were saying this guy is probably the best black wrestler
for sure.
No gimmick or anything needed. Sure. Just looking at the comments, Wrestlings have doubled down with that best technical wrestler in the world. That match was something else. Again, this isn't someone that I hold my hands up. I'm not overexposed to. I don't watch too much of his stuff. I've been hearing his name for some time now. Watched this match, was blown away. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And just want to see more. And
as I said, every match in that tournament that he had, especially the first one as well, with Wheeler Utah, I believe it was. That match blew me away. I was just like, wow, these guys went for it. So, and that is what the pure tournament was all about. It was about the technical wrestling, no gimmicks, no fancy stuff. They've got certain rules that make it, make sure it is about the technicality of wrestling. It's very difficult for you to cheat and win. So, for him to win that, as the kind of guy that he is, as the type of wrestler that he says he is, hearing best technical wrestler and Jonathan Gresham in the same sentence is normal.
Yeah.
Anyone will say that to you. Wrestler, fan, journalist, whatever, will all say the same thing. If they've seen enough of Gresham, they know that he is literally the best technical wrestler that you will probably ever see. So it's amazing for him to have the accolade that he has, and and be able to show it, and have a tournament that was literally about him from start to finish. The promo, the fact that he was calling through it from day one. As I said, the promos that he cut and in between, beforehand, afterwards. This is the type of exposure. This is the type of attention that we need to see more often for our black wrestlers, because if they are good enough to have it, what are we waiting for? You know what I mean? And it's just great to see it. It's just great to see it, basically.
Yeah. pointing Eli before we finish up here. He said, "What are your thoughts on ACH, Chris Bay, and Lio Rush?" Again, great exposure. We talked about this at the top of the show, Eli. So if you want to watch back at the beginning of the stream, you'll hear our thoughts. But
yeah,
again,
man,
just like you're talking about exposure-wise, it's brilliant. This is a whole different continent that these men are now going to display their talents to. Not that we don't know who they are, but just great for those people there, in fact.
No, and to talk on that as well in terms of the exposure, again, it's kind of like what we've been waiting for. It's like, why has it taken so long? You know what I mean? Like for those three, yes, ACH is no stranger to it, but then for Lio Rush and for someone like Chris Bay, it is kind of like, well, this shouldn't be a shock to us. Unfortunately, it is, but it shouldn't be. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's great. And on that note, we can finish on a high. Talking about the exposure of our people. Hopefully as well, you will be able to be more exposed to us as well. So you are watching on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel, and you also can listen to us on the AffinityExtra.com website, Radio Affinity Extra. So make sure you check us out. And of course, as always, you can see right there on the screen, you can follow us on Instagram, Black Wrestling Alliance, or Mex on WrestleManiac UK, and also on Twitter as well. Look out for us. Just a quick one. There's going to be something that I'm coming with very soon. I'll be announcing it, and it's going to change the landscape of Black Wrestling. I'm telling you that from now, just so you know.
That was a WWE promo if I haven't heard one myself. The man said landscape.
Yes, landscape. Right, new day. The trajectory, you know what I mean? So let's go. Folks, thank you for watching live. It's amazing. We've got people watching live. So thank you for watching live. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, even if it's not live. And please make sure you're back again on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel and everywhere else you can find us. Folks, peace out.
Love, guys. Thank you.